Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Red-Rupee here with you again. We got another great game here for you. That's going to be my first cast from patch 3.18, so a lot of balance changes going on here, so we should be able to see some of that taking effect today. There's been stuff across the board, so it'll be hard not to see it take effect in any of the games here. Also, while I haven't put up a game in about a week here, been pretty busy, I've managed to go ahead and put up some of the social networking and community sites you'd expect from a caster. I've got my Facebook page up, I've got Twitter happening, and I've got a Steam group up as well, so join any or all three of those as much as you like. I like to make it so anybody, whichever you use, some people don't care for Twitter or Facebook or Steam or whichever one you don't like, join one of them. That way you can keep track of when I'm having new casts go up, or if I get into some live casting here, that'll let you know when that's happening. And of course, I'll probably have a couple, like, DLC contests happening for subscribers here soon, with the new DLCs that all came out recently with the patch as well. So if you want to be involved with that, feel free to subscribe, of course, and hop on those other networking sites to keep track of me. So let's go ahead and get started with this game here. We've got WN Bizzie, Warrior Nation clan, always a pretty nasty set of guys here as far as gameplay goes. Not nasty themselves, but great players as our Apothecary, and of course, TyranidTerror as our big mean red hive tyrant. So let's get this going. Greentooth Gorge is where we're at. Pretty good map. I know it's a favorite for a lot of people. Got some garrisons hanging around all over the place. Generally tend to be a problem for Nids to deal with that early on, so we'll see if Bizzie takes advantage of that. And looking pretty standard so far on the opening cap orders. Looks like Bizzie going for a triple scout build here, so that's always fun to watch against Tyranid. So let's see how that works out. Bizzie going ahead real quick and grabbing both powers right off the bat at the beginning, and these three scouts will definitely aid in helping keep that map control in his favor for fighting Tyranids as Space Marine. So that's pretty much that. You can see TyranidTerror going ahead and grabbing himself a victory point real early here, and Bizzie getting himself a fourth scout squad. That should be interesting. 3 is usually what you see, but I guess we'll bring in a fourth and change up the build order here a little bit. The Hive Tyrant's already going to go ahead and stomp across and start harassing whatever he can find. Going to push these scouts away with the help of the Termagants and make those scouts retreat a little bit. Meanwhile, the Apothecary's already engaging himself in a little melee brawl here. Doesn't really care about those Hormagaunts. Going to go ahead and capture the point anyways before he turns to start chopping away at them with the Chainsword.
Our fortifications are under assault.
And you can see the rest of the Tyranid army moving on in here. Looks like Bizzie's first upgrade is going to be the Sanguine Chainsword at 20 power now. This Chainsword in 3.18 now also grabs some passive HP regeneration, pretty reasonable too, it looks like. If we take a look at the Apothecary, you can see his HP just moving up pretty quickly right there, tanking those Termagants, and gonna go ahead and force them off. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, it looks like the scouts and the Termagants had a little engagement here, and the scouts retreated to the safety of that garrison. And Bizzie has pretty much been able to take the map in his favor right now. Scouts retreating out of the garrison and gonna go ahead and get some capturing in. 4 scouts is a pretty interesting build. It should provide a lot of utility for dealing with the initial Gaunt and Gant squads. Be curious how it scales. Normally a lot of Space Marines' power comes from just upgrading their Tier 1 units, such as Devastators, Tactical Marines, and the Assault Space Marines. So with all scouts, it'll be curious to see how that scales into late game. Our first Sergeant coming up onto the field. That was another thing I was looking to see, is how these 4 squads are going to get upgraded. Looks like he tried to drop a grenade there, but decided to get out while the getting was good. 2 of his squads had to retreat there. And the Apothecary now just trying to tank some damage here. It looks like you can see with the heal and his regen plus the health he's gaining from each strike against the Hive Tyrant, he's almost out regenerating the damage from both the Hive Tyrant and a Termagant squad. So that was a pretty significant change to the Sanguine Chainsword here. Definitely probably going to be seeing that a lot more. Of course, the bolter also got a minor nerf, reducing the range on full auto, but I think combined with the buff for the Sanguine Chainsword, it should change up apothecary builds a little bit more. And I think that's overall what BC was going for, BC being the main balance lead for the game right now, recently replacing Tasker. So he modified a lot of ward gears. Hopefully we'll see a lot more variety in the ward gears overall.
We shall make it so.
You can see some Raveners on the field now. Those obviously getting the nerf that Devourers are no longer in Tier 1. The Devourer ranged Ravener upgrade is no longer available. That doesn't come into play until Tier 2 now. A second Sarge coming onto the field now. One missed grenade on the Raveners, and here comes another one. Nails one to head on. Doesn't quite take it out though. The Scouts are in a bit of trouble there. They're going to go ahead and retreat quickly. The other squad just going to fall back quick enough, no need to retreat and see the map control if you can help it. They also have a sergeant coming onto the field right now. As far as power goes, both players with their full farm right now. No gen bashes as of yet. That'll be another drawback to having this many scouts, I feel, is that you're not going to have an effective unit for generator bashing, despite having excellent map control. A few termagants fallen there to a volley of fire from two squads of scouts. And the other two squads moving in to try to protect this generator farm. A pincer move coming in from Bizzie. Gonna put the Tyranid army right between both task forces of scouts here. Meanwhile, the apothecary is gonna tank away with this Hive Tyrant. And the Ravener is burrow striking in on these scouts. We could see probably a retreat grenade on this, but it looks like he's gonna hold out for that. Oh, he did throw it, but it was a bit too late. Not quite the reflexes he needed, and now we have 3 scout squads. You can see the damage output on 3 scout squads is actually pretty significant. You can see TyranidTerror was probably just trying to get into a position where a grenade would not destroy this squad on retreat. Bizzie does attempt to throw one, but he's quite a few seconds late there. And now with these 4 scout squads, Bizzie's free to go ahead and take control of the map. You can see the big Tyranid swarm moving on out here. Big range blob with the Hive Tyrant hanging out in the middle. Gonna keep going in and causing some disruption with his extended carapace, which grants him the charge ability. So he'll be able to charge right into those masses of scouts. Between that and the Raveners, probably have some pretty good disruption. And again, you can see these Raveners tried to engage the Apothecary in melee, but realized immediately they probably just weren't going to be able to do enough damage to outdo his regen with that Sanguine Chainsword. There's the first charge. Looks like he ran into that pillar head first, so didn't quite get to complete it and knock over the second squad of scouts, finding him in a bit of a predicament between all that range fire and forced off the map. Meanwhile, again, we have the 2 Termagants scared the scouts into the garrison, realizing they aren't going to be able to do much against that. Here comes another grenade, not quite on target. 2 more still remaining. There's a second. Managed to grab a couple right there, but not too much damage. And 1 more on retreat. There's just grenades flying all over the place. I love it. Ravener's burrow strike to get away from the Apothecary and engage the scouts. But they are under a lot of pressure. They need to get out of there. Managed to escape without... Oh, nope, they did lose a model. I almost thought that they did not. This scout squad just now escaping from its garrison. I'm going to go ahead and take that very close wreck point to TyranidTerror's base. Always good to get those matured wreck points down when you can. I think he has 1 more grenade left. I'm not sure if he fired all 3 right there. But he does decide he's going to go ahead and retreat in the face of this massive swarm of Tyranids right now. Meanwhile, Raveners are going to push these scouts back. The Hormagaunts probably going to be able to get another model or 2. Hormagaunts, now with their adrenal glands, do not get a passive speed boost, so they're not going to be able to chase nearly as well. But they do have a nice melee charge that comes with it now, which I feel fits a lot better to adrenal glands. They should only get a speed boost, you know, when the adrenaline's pumping, when they're in combat. So I think that's a pretty good change. Still gives you a good advantage in combat, but doesn't make them extremely fast attacking squads. So you can see Bizzie's really been keeping his scouts kind of in a pile here. I feel like he could probably use one of those 4 squads to go around and cap the map a little more. But he's going to go ahead and just leap into the range blob and protect this power generator farm first. The brood nest has been dropped right next to the power farm, so these Hormagaunts are reinforcing just as quickly as they're falling. The brood nest also took a buff in the form of 25 reduction in red cost, so you'll probably be seeing those a bit more often as well. The scouts are pushing down this hive tyrant while you can see the apothecary just tanking away at all this damage coming in. Another brood nest dropped right after the first one fell, but it looks like it's probably going to be an ill-fated brood nest that's already getting hacked away by the apothecary, and these 2 squads of termagants aren't going to be able to stand up to all those scouts. On the plus side for TyranidTerror, he has managed to cap just about all of the map. Only 2 wreck points and the 2 generator farms remaining for Bizzie. So he managed to bring those victory points right back into his favor. Bizzie now opting to get himself a Razorback, and following that up with a Librarian. It'll be interesting to see when vehicles come onto the field how he deals with a Carnifex or even a Tyrant Guard at this point. Really, with all these scouts and Razorback and a Librarian, he's not going to have any real anti-armor capabilities. TyranidTerror bringing himself a Zoanthrope onto the field as his first Tier 2 purchase, and immediately getting the Ravener Devourers as well, so adding to this nasty pile of range here. The scouts escape into the Razorback, and they're going to go ahead and actually not fall back, but push in. They need to be careful with this Zoanthrope on the field. He fires that into that pile of scouts, it can definitely cause some hurt, especially with the Hormagaunts already in there. There's a nice shot right in the middle of the scouts, looking pretty good on that. Grenade right into the pile of Termagants. Boom! There it goes! Looks like about 4 or 5 fell on that shot. That was a pretty spot-on shot. Meanwhile, you can see up top the other squad of Termagants here. Been capping the map, grabbing some wreck points, and getting